Hey everyone, it's Sally Eslin here from Self Empowered Lifestyles, and we are doing another episode of Just Choose Life because every day is a Tuesday. So today I'm incredibly excited to sit down and have a good old chinwag with Misty Henkel, who is a sales trainer based up in Queensland. So welcome, Misty.
Hi, Sally. Hi, guys. Hi, everyone.
I was particularly excited to sit down and have a chat with you because you are so empowering with the choices that you make. And I would love you to share a little bit about your story about where you have actually just chosen life because it's about focusing on what really matters. And your story is always very empowering.
So, we were chatting earlier, Sally, about me having moved. So, here I am. So, quick background for everybody. Got a husband, got two kids. Boys are now 13 and 14.
Yeah.
And we moved from Canberra, where all our family is, to 1,200 kilometres away to Chinchilla, middle of nowhere, in Queensland. What had happened was during COVID, we were renting. We've always been renting because some I like to move around a fair bit. And we were renting in Canberra, and really rent prices are about $550 at the time COVID hits, and all houses go from 500,000 up to $1 million. And uh, and unbeknownst to me, as the prices are going up, and we know that the house that we're in, we were renting it directly from the landlord. And because we were renting it from the landlord, we knew we were paying less at 550, but it should have been at least 650 or higher. And but the landlord liked us. And we were a little concerned that he was going to do like this rent review and we'd end up being homeless. And we looked at a few other places like, what does it take to rent a house now? And in
Yeah.
Canberra, it's impossible. You're up against 30 to 50 other people. It wasn't done in the old way where you made friends with a real estate agent and then she's gone, oh, I really like this family. I'll give that off um, to the family for them to see if they want to rent this house. It's really just done almost like an application for a government job. It's just done online. The
Yeah.
real estate agent doesn't know who you are compared to it. Why they want you to look at the houses beyond me, because they don't marry you up with an application. They do nothing in regards to that. And then it's like, how can you win in that world? So it was quite anxious ridden. But unbeknownst to me, I go about life just going, oh, well, I'm sure it'll all just work out, right? That's
Yeah.
me. I'm the
Yeah.
optimistic. I mean, if we go at the negative bias from years ago, caveman days, the pessimistic people, the one that were looking for a movement in the grass, the one that were looking for the saber-toothed tigers to come out and kill them, they're the ones that lived. And the optimistic ones like, it should be fine. Would have got eaten. But so I'm kind of like of that nature going, I'm sure it'll just work itself out. So long as I have access to the person who owns the house, I can talk our way into anything, right?
Yeah.
And so that worked out fine. But unbeknownst to me, Simon, who is of the pessimistic nature, and clearly of the caveman days, I didn't know that he had been really concerned about this. And Simon's a bit of a silent thinker. He goes and has a internal problem, and then he'll go Googling for it and thinking about it for like months before
Right.
I even know he's thinking of anything. So it gets to, would have been 2021, December of 2021. And Simon says, oh, just wanted to come into the office, just wanted to show you something on the screen. He said, I'm thinking we're going to move to Chinchilla. Oh, sure. Where's Chinchilla? Right?
Exactly. Yeah.
It's like in lockdown. So where's Chinchilla? He goes, Queensland. I said, no, no. I don't do Queensland because I don't do hot. No. And he said, so you'll get air conditioning. We're moving. I'm selling the car this week. Find us a place. That's where we're going. And I'm having a bit of a chuckle and said, and why? And
Yeah.
he said, because it's too expensive to live in Canberra now. He said, stress me out. He said, if something happens to our place, we will be homeless. He said, and at the prices that the houses went up at $1 million, he said, one of two things is going to happen. He said, he said, if we were to ever buy a house in Canberra, the boys probably will never be able to afford one in Canberra, which means they'll never live anywhere near us. We're never going to live near the boys when they get older. He said, or it's going to go the other way. We're not going to be able to buy a house. The boys will leave school, they'll do whatever, they'll have enough money to buy a house, and we won't be able to live near them. In which case, we're never going to be near the boys. So we're going to move to a town where we can all afford to live, and we're moving there. And I've gone, well, we've done some small towns before, so there's got to be a few checkpoints. And he said, I've already checked it out. It's got a gym, It's got a swimming pool. It's
Oh,
got a movie theater. I said, does it have a grocery store? He goes, it's got 2 grocery stores. One of them's Woolworths. And so God, because I know this with small towns, you move to a small town, it's cheap to move to a small town, but if you have to travel 2 hours to get the groceries every week, right, it kills your spirit, like 100% kills your spirit. So it's hard to live there. So it has 2 supermarkets. It's got the McDonald's, KFC, Domino's. It's got 3
yeah.
checkpoints for if you want, it didn't have a donut king, but anyhow, the boys are costing me a fortune in donuts back then anyway. They were like 10, 11. They cost me a fortune in donuts. So I'm just like, well, Simon, here was my stance, Sally. Well, Simon, you're the man of the family. If you say we're moving, we'll move. Why not? Right? And just went with it because, hey, living cheaper in a house kind of is very attractive. It's 1,200 kilometers away from family members. That's a
Yeah.
big drive. But
Yeah.
here's the other interesting thing. It's 4 hours west of Brisbane, which means it's 4 hours from an airport.
Wow.
So it's not like you can go anywhere easily. Like it's easy. It's 4 hours west of Brisbane. It's 4 hours west of Gold Coast, 4 hours west of Sunshine Coast, 4 hours below Harvey Bay, like 4 hours below
It's quite
Rockhampton.
central.
It is. We're like the spoke of a tire, and just depending on which highway you get on,
Yeah.
you'll end up, and everything's within 4 hours, right, to get anywhere. And and life has become easier. Living in a house that costs so much less, life becomes
Yeah.
easy. We
Yeah.
still have 2 cars, but we own them outright. They're not expensive cars. Like mine's cost me $1,000. It's over 20 years old. Simon gets into the garage with it and goes, I'll get on YouTube and see if I know how to update anything on it. Right? So, because you got time on your hands now. There's no shopping center here. The closest shopping center is 2 hours away. Boys
Wow.
have learned to live without donuts. I've just discovered 3 years later that one of the takeaways down the street on a Saturday morning makes donuts. So now we have Saturday morning donuts. But something happened around Christmas time, and Simon said, "Oh, yeah, something happened around Christmas time." Simon said, "I think I'll take the boys away. It's going to cost us a bit of money to take them down to Canberra, see their cousins." And
Mm.
I said, "Simon, I've just done a quick calculation. Get out my phone. In the last 3 years, you have just saved us $77,000 in rent. Our house cost $255,000, by the way.
Wow. So you bought
255,000. Now,
oh, wow.
let me paint a picture for you. The house was 8 years
Totally.
old at the time. It was in the new subdivision, cement slab on the floor, 5 bedrooms. So we've got 2 offices. The boys have a bedroom each, and we have a bedroom. Big shared living space. Huge backyard with grass in it. Back garden shed, double garage, grass out the front, like that we were able to landscape and everything else.
Wow.
$255,000.
That's
Our
unheard of.
mortgage, yeah, our mortgage is like $800 a month. And
Wow.
while we could play it faster than that, like to pay it back, it's like, why? But once we get to live, so when milk goes up, we don't have a complaint. When petrol goes up, we don't have a complaint. I said to Simon, I said, you've saved us $77,000 in rent in the last 3 years. You've saved us more than $2,800 in donuts by moving us in the last 3 years. I don't want to know how much you've saved us on McDonald's in the last 3 years.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So really, whatever it costs to travel back home, what does it matter?
Yeah. You encompass everything that I love about, you know, you're bold, you dig deep, you've got the courage and the confidence to actually take those action steps, because this is about peeling it back and living more simply, in the sense that, you made that decision. And how insightful of Simon to do all that research and come up with this.
Here's what happened, right? Like he says, no, we are moving. So I've been looking at houses. You call the real estate, you pick one, you buy it.
Yeah.
Like you pick it because we're moving. No, and I'm selling a car this week because we're going. I'm selling all my gym equipment. It was like a week or 2 weeks before the end of school term in Canberra in summer, so December. So it's not easy weather, let's say, for the boys to walk to and from school. And then Simon sells a car and then turns around like the next day and then says, "Oh, I need your car to get to and from work. You and the boys will have to walk to school." I don't mind walking to school. I mind walking home. More than 30 degrees in Canberra and I don't do sun. So I'm like, what do you mean at 2:30 in the afternoon I have to walk in the sun
Yeah.
and to go collect the boys from school? That's insane. But anyhow, I did that for about the last week of school. And he started selling his gym equipment because he said if it doesn't fit in the truck, it's not coming with us.
Yeah.
We literally got rid of most of our stuff.
And how did that make you feel, getting rid of stuff, decluttering and peeling it back to what was really
We've had to do it a lot. Simon gets bored. And so in the first 13 years or 14 years that I knew him, I think we moved 11 times.
Whoa.
And so we had to do it a lot. But it's remarkable how much clutter you just collect. Our second drawer in the kitchen is literally one layer. I think the thing we've got the most of would be 3 kitchen knives. I have the one that I like the most. Jack's got his favorite now because he started cooking with Simon. And then there's like this full-on meat hatchet. I don't even know how we ended up with this square thing that I don't know. And other than that, like 2 serving spoons, 1 ladle, 1 whisk, 1 can opener. Like it's just, it's so decluttered. And like the drawer above it, it's just, my mom gave me a really good cutlery set when I was 24. And because I loved it. My aunt had it and I loved it. The feel of it. Mum said, only use it for best. I'll never use it. This is the only cutlery I'm using, and when it wears out, I'll just buy more. And I'm 48 now. 24 years later, I've lost a couple of spoons and things, but that's the only ones.
Yeah.
I now even, plates, you grow up, you have chip plates and they're all unmatching. And, when we move, that's it. I'm only having matching plates. And if one gets a chip in it, it's out. I'm not having chipped plates. I'm not having it. So I bought enough, but I can do it now.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's amazing how when you decide that if you've got a chipped plate, it's getting thrown out. It's amazing how much stuff doesn't get broken, or it's full on getting broken on the floor. Nothing's been chipped in years.
Oh, look, absolutely. I remember one of my last moves, and from when I got married, I got all these beautiful crystal glasses, and they were always the good ones. And I've moved like you so many times, and all the time, the good ones always be careful, fragile, whatever. So in my last move, and I got paid for all this insurance for the travel in case anything got broken. And in the end, the only thing that got broken were the 3 boxes of the really good glasses. And it was just like, oh, thank God, I don't have to carry these anymore. I
don't have to worry about it anymore. It's done now.
It's done. And I think you've brought up a really good point. If this is the perfect time to bring out the good stuff and use it. And if it breaks, it breaks. But what is the point of having all this stuff? And it's time to get either color, get rid of it, or use it. I think this is time. It's just.
Do you recall Rove? Do you recall Rove, the guy who used to be on TV?
Yep.
Still on TV, right? I don't know what channel he's on now, but I saw him interviewing, I don't know, on a panel with Tom Cruise about a year ago, or a year or 2 ago. But anyhow, I'm going, oh, that's Rove. Rove used to be married to a woman named Belinda Emmett.
Yes.
And she died of cancer just before she died, because it's in my head and I bring it out, like I say it a lot, right? Just before she died, she wrote this thing that was called something like, If I Had My Time Again. And on it said, if I had my time again, I know I would walk on the carpet with shoes. I would sit on the good lounge.
Yes.
I would buy white carpet. I would eat ice cream every day. I'd use the good cutlery. And I've just gone, oh, because that's how much time we've got. Time is long, right, for everyone, although it's a little bit shorter for some than others. But, I mean, technically time is long. We have a lot of it. We tend to utilize it in a weird way. Yeah. I've said to people for the last 3 years, Sally, my sisters, my mum, friends in Canberra, say, oh, my God, it's so expensive here. You know what? Moving to Chinchilla is like winning lotto. All
Yeah.
I had to do was move 1,200 kilometers away to collect it. And I say to people, why don't you sell where you're at and move to Chinchilla? And they have all sorts of reasons. Oh, but I need to live near the beach. Okay, Canberra's 2 hours from a beach. We're 4 hours from a beach. You sell your place for 1.5 million. You buy a place for, oh, look, be generous. Buy one for 400,000. You'll end up with still $1 million in the bank. For $1 million in the bank, holiday on whatever island you want for the rest of your life. Like, do what you like,
Yeah.
but that is the lotto ticket. And all you have to do is move away. That's it.
That
And
takes
we've gone back
courage.
to Canberra multiple
Yeah.
times every year. It's expensive, but it's still cheaper than what we were paying in rent. Like we were paying more than $2,000 a month in rent.
Mm.
And one of the reasons why Simon was so stressed about moving was I refused to go back into another full-time job.
Yeah.
So every time I've done a full-time job, so Simon's in the full-time job with the government, and I've been in and out of full-time jobs with being a mom and doing the sales training and getting them to and from school and moving around and
Yeah.
right. I've done the full-time job plenty of times before. Hell, there was a time where Simon took 2 years off work when the boys were 2 and 3 years old, and he stayed home with them, and I went to work. But I've noticed that every time the two of us are working full time,
Yeah.
we didn't have an extra 5 cents in the bank after, let's say, a year of us both doing it.
Wow.
Because when I work full time, usually my job is I still need to get the boys organized. I can't take them to school now, so I've got to drop them off at it used to be Simon's mum's. So I'd be getting up super early to
Yeah.
get them organized and be hassling them all the time to get out the door. Then I'd have to go to work, battle through the traffic. Canberra traffic is nothing like Sydney, right? But it still take 40 minutes. Then I'm parking the car a mile from work where
Yeah.
it's costing me $200 a week just for car parking,
Yeah.
right? Then I go into work, then I have to walk back, then I have to get back through the traffic. By the time I get home, hey, we're not cooking dinner. I'm buying it. And then all the money's gone in the petrol, the hassle, the having to buy the school lunches, buy dinner now, car parking. So we end up with not any extra for the amount that I've earned. So I've gone, I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Now I could work if I want to in a job outside of the house, but I work from home and I get to do all the sales stuff. This year I've decided to go out because I'm 3 years in town and I haven't really met anyone. We actually just it forces you to get along with your family members inside the house because it's not like you can farm the kids off to a grandparent if they're annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1,200 kilometers away. So you have to work out how to get along inside the house with everyone. We
Yeah.
talk to our neighbors. It's dead flat. The kids have learned to ride bikes because, and then we have the time. Like we can sit outside and watch them because we're not driving a big commute back and forth to work. We get to work from home here. The internet is so good. NBN is hardwired directly into the house. In 3 years, never had an internet issue, like ever.
Wow. Wow.
It's
That's so good. I mean, you are selling the simpler life and just really choosing. I mean, you've chosen the simpler stuff because and you're living a richer life. So, but
yeah.
it takes a lot of courage. So, what would be 3 tips that you could share or pull out to help people take that first step to find that courage to make the change, to choose, prioritizing themselves, choosing a simpler life, choosing that
Okay.
balance.
All right. Well, here's my first one. Just take a really deep breath and
Yes.
understand this. You can always move back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Right? Like nothing has to be permanent.
Yeah, yeah.
Right? Life today isn't about permanency. You don't leave school with the plan to be in a job and be in that same job for the rest of your life.
Yeah, exactly.
We're not of that generation, Sal. Like our parents were of that generation, grandparents definitely, but we're not of that. So if you take a deep breath and know this, it'll all just work out.
I
Like
love it. It's true though. It's having that trust though, that faith, that trust.
how many people has it killed by just
Yeah,
moving to a different place and then just living in a house?
yeah,
If you live in a place that's way cheaper to live in a house, I mean, let's look at it. It's costing us less than $200 a week to live in a house.
yeah.
Like Simon says, you know what we should do? He's found this hovel here now. He says, if we sell our place now, he said, and we buy this place here, we won't have a mortgage. And I'm looking at it. It's about looking at math. Okay, let's look at the math. This is really important for everybody. Let's look at the math,
Yeah.
right? Simon says, we won't have a mortgage. But all that will be doing is put in, but we still have the bills. You still have electricity, water, food,
Yeah.
right? You're going to drive around, you're going to have a car, right? Get the kids to and from school. So, like, you're still going to have bills, but we might not have the mortgage to live in a, so we don't have to pay to live in a house. But currently, on what we're right, if we don't have a mortgage, we're only recuperating less than $200 a week into our bank account.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, we may as well have the mortgage and have the comfortable house that we don't have to do anything with.
Yeah.
Whereas if we get the place that's the fixer-upper, we have no mortgage, we're not going to be comfortable living in the house. We're going to be looking to go on holidays. We're going to be looking to get out. We're going to be looking to upgrade. This is going to cost us money. We're going to end up with loans. You end up with a lot of other things. So it really is about understanding math.
Yeah.
And also knowing this, particularly for those who can sell a house in order to move to a cheaper place. One is you need a place that absolutely has a supermarket, a big one, like Woolworths. Like, it's got to be a big brand name, right? The second one we've got is Drake's, which apparently is Queensland's version of Superbarn or something for those somewhere else in it. So it's a big supermarket, right? You need to have a big supermarket in the town as well, because then you're not traveling. Our closest shopping center is 2 hours away. We used to go every few months. We'd go 2-hour drive. We'd get up early. We'd go in the car. All right, we're going to go to the movies. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. And, what are we going to see? What are we going to eat? And, and then we'd get in the car and we'd drive home. We'd be home by 5 in the afternoon. And it's now gotten to the point, and the boys were right into retail because they'd grown up in a city, so they love the shops and the toys and everything. Now I take them across, go, I'll go to Toowoomba, and then we go across, and they've gone, there's literally nothing to buy.
Wow.
Like, I've got a pocket full of cash, and like, there's nothing for me to buy except for food. And I've gone, that's what adults spend the money on. There's not stuff anymore. It's just, what are we going to eat? Let's eat something different, and then we'll go back home. And so now even the boys have turned into that space of, it'd just be easier to stay home than to travel to go to the shopping center. So it does teach you to look at retail a different way. Hey, I'm not against spending money. I love spending money. But it makes you decide, what is it going to be? Because it's a trip now.
Yeah.
What are we getting? Why are we going there? What's the purpose? What are we going to do? Like, I get frustrated when we drive 2 hours away, and then the boys want to have McDonald's for lunch. Oh my God. We have McDonald's at home, so let's try something else. Anyhow, it was about Christmas time, and I took them across to the shops. We're doing some Christmas shopping, whatever. Simon stayed home, and I said, we're going to have Thai food, and the tantrum that ensued after that, right?
Yeah.
But I said, but that's how it is, right? Because McDonald's is at home. And my plan was, we're going to have a nice, tasty meal. And I mean, how expensive could it be? I kid you not, Sally. Lunch cost me more than $100.
Wow.
And I've gone, because then they sat there and gone, fine then. Well, then I'll have this. And then someone said, I'll have this. And I thought, we only needed one meal between the three of us.
Yeah.
I wasn't exactly planning on carrying around takeaway, like leftovers and let's just dig into it. But they then got excited. We're at a restaurant and it costs over $100. We've gone, do you know what? When's the next time we're doing this? And they've gone, that food was amazing. Oh, well, actually, that became the experience of the trip.
Yeah.
Was the meal. And I've gone, oh, well, so it cost more than expected. But, going back, and I've saved $77,000 in rent. So you learn to start to just see things slightly different.
Absolutely. And this is what it's all about, seeing things through different lenses, right? So, I mean, for anyone that's thinking about changing homes, hopefully this is a very inspiring conversation about just, dig deep. face your fears and do it anyway. Just move faster than the speed of disbelief and really get out there. So, Misty, what's next on the horizon for you?
Well, I'm really just, I get to play in that whole sales trainer space now. So in the workspace, the boys are getting bigger and they actually like to have their own personal space now. So, I know as an entrepreneur, you would be the same thing. You work for yourself and you think, oh my God, all these things, these competing agendas are under my feet as I'm trying to build this thing that I'm doing. And somewhere along the lines, we're moving, following, someone says we're moving. Okay, well, now I have to pack up the house again. And then I've got to move everyone. I've got to get everyone settled at school. And,
Yeah.
I've got to deal with all of that because that's the mum space. And I'm cool with that. I'm mum. So, and then just keeping, I'm never going to end up following just a little part of my dream with the sales training that I do. But know that your time comes, and like even when I look at it, the boys are 13 and 14, and I just say, worst that can happen is they're at school until you're 12. So there's only really 4 more years. And
Yeah.
then I can concentrate on this full time. But then suddenly I've just fallen into a space this year where, for whatever reason, at 13 and 14, the boys have considered me kind of cool.
Oh my
by
God,
message,
the
they hate
horror.
me guts. But anyhow, I've moved into some weird space where last year they hated me. This year they're, well, actually, you're probably more easygoing than most moms, but they have asked for more space, and I get to sort of play in my space now. And I often think, like I work from home, someone works from home, and our boys, particularly last year, they very much learnt swear words and thought they could throw them out everywhere, which just kills me. Being the only girl, and they're gross and they're disgusting, and then they come up with all these boy things, and Simon encourages them, and it's just gross. But sometimes, we have the trouble of we need the internet, so we can't have it turned off. We put parent permissions on certain things that they shouldn't be on. We don't want them on the internet all the time and doing all these things, but then it mucks up our internet. And I've just gone, we have the rudest, most conceited, entitled children on the planet. Or let's look from another perspective. Or maybe that's just how kids are, and really they'll end up being the most adjusted because they have parents that don't have to be really far away in their jobs.
Yeah.
And I have to say that is probably the biggest thing from moving here. Yes, it costs us less to live here, but it allows us to at very late have a parent around. Some works from home here. I could go out and get a job anywhere, right? Anywhere at all. And I could travel here and there and I could do all this stuff. I really do believe in having a parent available full-time for when the children need them.
Yeah.
And I think that Simon and I will become very much those parents of the friends, the boys' friends, who, if anyone gets into trouble, they've done the wrong thing, let's be blunt, get a girl pregnant, anything like that, go, let's just go see Misty and Simon and see what we have to do. Great. I'll now take you to your mum and we will talk together and get that done. Like, we've sort of become those parents of, just let's see if they've got the answer first before we turn around and get in a whole bunch load of trouble somewhere else. Like, let's see how it is. And I'm watching, we've got golden retrievers. So I get to watch what's happening on the street. I get to see the kids. I get to talk to them. And, my kids don't get hassled at school. They're not the ones that get bullied. But then I go to school and I say hi to all the kids as they come out of school. Hey, how you going? How you going? My boys will say, do you know that kid? No, I've got no idea. But,
but that's you.
Looking at me. So I say, hey. They don't know who you are. They think you're strange. That's fine. In the end, they go, oh, that's Jack's mum. Oh, that's Noah's mum.
Yeah.
I don't know the parents, I know the kids, and you get seen, and it's a nice place to be in. It's kind of like the olden days where the mum was
That's
at
the
home
basics.
and the kids.
I think everything we've been talking about today is about bringing it back to basics, about what's important, because this is what this is about. We all have a choice. Everything is a choice, and you've chosen the simpler life, and look how rewarding and fulfilling it is for you. It's very empowering, your story, and thank you so much for sharing your story today, Misty.
You're welcome.
You are such a dynamo, and it's about motivating and inspiring people, particularly if you're thinking about moving homes and things. Like, think outside the box. Look at what Misty's story has just shared about doing this massive change, like massive, uprooting everything, and look at how well, balanced you are now with your life. And as you said, more quality time with the kids, more quality time at home, and finances all, a lot better.
I'll tell you an interesting position into the future, right?
Yeah.
Well, Simon had decided we'll move to a town where, the boys will be able to live easily too. There's plenty of jobs out here, whatever they decide to do. But let's say the future says that they're going to move somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because we've chosen to be out here and live easier, like cheaper in a house, that's actually far better than most of the houses we've ever lived in while renting, right?
And it's yours. Yeah.
That's right. If one of the boys or both of them decide that they're going to get a job in the city, we now are in a position to now we have lived comfortably and been able to save money in this area and pay things off over here and just live easier. We'll be in that position where we can go, we can move too. Or we can choose to stay here, they can move, and we have the cash to go visit.
Yeah, yeah.
It breaks my heart when I hear parents live so far away from their family and then they never get to visit them.
Yeah.
Like America is a big deal. Like, I live in New York and, my child lives in, it could be just Wisconsin. It's not really that far away, or Chicago or LA. And, I'm lucky to see them every couple of years.
Yeah. I know, life's too short.
How can that be allowed to happen?
I know. And I forget, someone was talking about, I don't know, I was listening to something and they were talking about how many summers left. And I'm nearly 57. So what have I got? Maybe 30 summers left.
Oh, no, Sal, you're probably on about 48. You just be like me. I'm just 105, right? If you continue to make your bed and open your curtains every morning, you're good for 105. Plan a birthday party every year, you're good for 105. I've been checking the stats on this. But still, 50 is not 48. It's not many.
Yeah, I know. And so we're not here for a long time, so let's make it a good time. Well, Misty, we're going to wrap it up now. Thank you so much for being a guest on Just Choose Life, because it is about focusing on what really matters and choosing you. Because at the end of the day, it's everything is a choice. And I just really am so grateful for you to share your story and, uprooting the family and everything. It's very inspiring, motivating, and empowering. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks, Sal. Thanks, guys. And it's been fun. It's fun.
Can't wait to continue to watch and see what the next chapter is that unfolds for you. Exciting times. Well, thanks, Missy. We'll see you soon.